What was once an important fortification of the enemy is now held by a small band of elves. The enemy seeks to reclaim their fortress, marching upon it in force. Fortunately, some of the ballistae and catapults there still function.
Welcome back everyone to Skirmishing 102, where today we have reached the second skirmish in the Mirkwood series, where we need to defend a stronghold that we have captured during the battle in Mirkwood. It's good that you're here. The others stationed here are all out on patrol, and I fear the enemy is stirring. Ooh. And she tells us that there's some ballistae prepared here, so we can use these in our battle. Now this is the only defensive skirmish in the Mirkwood group, but it gets more than balanced out when you consider that all the ones in the Moria group are defensive ones. So let's get over here. Now I decided to use the lurker in this case because in a solo run you are only facing weaks, so therefore several weak opponents rather than a strong one. I think the bog lurker with the bog guardian with the tendency to stay in one place and to use ranged attacks, that it would be much better to use the lurker here, who doesn't have to travel back and forth, because any other pet would just go probably move, do a quick hit, run back to place, detect the next one, move, and yeah, that's not going to be very optimal. So I figure someone who has a ranged attack would be much better for the skirmish. Actually, probably is usually in general good for skirmishes, but I've been tending to use the bear or the lynx just out of habit, and also because of visibility's sake. That's the one thing about Hobbit lore masters, is that many of the pets are larger than the Hobbit in question. That's the reason why I like to use the bear cub instead of the full-size bear, is because size. There we go. And well, probably not the best use of that, because there are too many of them with ranged ability. That's the other thing, is a lot of these have ranged skills, so as a result of that I find myself running, or I should say, they're not grouping together, because if you have one where they're all melee skills and they all bunch together, and that lightning storm was very effective in that case, but obviously it wasn't in that particular scenario. But I think it should be out of cooldown by the time I need it again, at least I would hope. Alright, that's 26 marks up. Anyway, Sticky Gorge should be often useful in area attacks if I need to do them in this particular one, seeing how I got weak opponents, and many of them are going to be even further weakened by having a ballista shot go onto their head. Oh well, that's oh, that Daywalker Berserker isn't in a very good way, is he? Now, the thing about the Daywalker Berserker is that it is too large to fit through that door when it has a shield. I know that's a weird thing to it, but it can't fit through when the shield is, so it winds up trying to go the other way around where it has a larger space. And now we've got this lieutenant here, Pale Trapper. Oh, I wound up not getting that done very well. Actually, this might be a good time for that. at least as spectacular. There we go. And now to the east. Nice spectacle. Lightning storm when it shreds an entire group through there. Okay, where are... Oh, there we are. Sometimes the thing about this script is seeing the mobs in this particular location, seeing how it is a relatively dark skirmish since it is set at night. So between the... And... Oh, Sticky Gourd is more than enough. Oh, the warg. Now, the warg comes down in this direction somewhere. Oops. That's the problem with this one. It's trying to keep up with... Okay, where is that warg? And going after the warg means that you are... You're not going to be there at the ballista at the right time. It goes down very fast, but finding the warg, well, if you know how to pay attention, you might be able to do it. But this, of course, means that I don't have the benefit of weakened opponents. So, and how about this? And this. Is that the last one? Yeah, alright. Oh! Good thing that I got here because the west one is probably the only one I'd be able to reach in time. That's assuming we don't have one of those super fast lieutenants. I'll let that one get through and bop those. That does mean having a full strength one in front. How about we do this? When they're alive, yeah. It's hard to see them sometimes. Oh, they're all dead. Okay. And now for the east. Alright, this is the third. There are 5 assaults in all. So this is the third of 5. So this particular one, you don't necessarily need raw firepower. If you've got area attacks, they're probably very, very good for those. That's, of course, assuming that you manage to get them at a good time. I mean, in other words, that they can bunch together. If they're not bunched together, then maybe then you have to be able to ping them off. There may be some quick attacks or something like that could be useful in that particular case. There we go. That is 3 of the 5 assaults. Now there's going to be one more encounter, of course. Unless I missed one. Alright. We can't concern that for the moment. I think we will have to have it during this assault. I don't think there are any that come in during the 5th assault, so we should at some point in this assault or at the end of it be getting a message relating to the arrival of our second encounter. And yeah, very effective. I suppose cracked earth would also be useful in this. So I do like them to be able to move so that I don't get stuck out of position by going too deep towards them. So if you use cracked earth, it'll probably be if they're coming out in that direction, because I really don't like going too deep on the eastward side, because if the next one is to the west, that means I got a long way to go. Alright, guess I'll have to let that one through. And you get that. Yeah, how about this? Yeah, okay, crack earth can be quite effective, it looks like. Anyone else around here? No, I guess not. That means center next. Yes, there will be one from each of the 3 positions in each one. So it's not like one of those where they choose it at, well, they choose the order at random, but it's always going to be 3 from, one from each of the 3 directions. So therefore, 3 of them, 1 from each direction. Guess that's. And there it is. There's the second encounter. Alright, he challenges you to attack him with that. Okay, hey, how about this? Of course, since you bonked him on the head with the ballista, he is weakened. If you don't attack him with the ballista, then he just walks away, calling you a coward or something like that, most likely. Alright, that's the 4th assault. So now we have one more assault, starting at the east, it looks like. Now you can skip the ballista, of course, except for the encounters that require you to fire a ballista in order to activate the counter boss. It's pretty common if you're in a group to have most of the group standing in the circle where you want to fight, and then you just keep on firing the ballista during the wave. Grief, you really want my herbalist, don't you? There you go. Next, I have a feeling that I used to staff a little bit more than most lore masters do. And let's see. But I find it as being a very quick attack where you don't need too many inductions in there. So if they're in my face, yeah, I do have a habit of using it. Actually, I think that's a shepherd. So if that's the case, I'm going to have to be ready to do that. Alright, there you go. And your turn. And finally, I think this is the west and the final wave in this particular skirmish. After which we then activate the boss fight. Coming at me! Actually, this is probably going to be one of those where you go, whee! Actually, that wasn't quite as effective as I thought it was going to be. Oh, actually. Either Wizard's Frost was even good enough for that one. Where's that one at? Oh, down there. Alright, that's the 5th assault done. So, let us speak with... Oh. What's she doing down there? Where'd she go? Oh. No, she isn't down there. Let's see. Did she go up the stairs? Oh, yes, she did. Prepare yourself. The battle is not over yet. Right? The leader is approaching. We must be very careful with this Olakai. The ballista will not be enough for him. Oh? I will go and arm the catapults. You meet him up on the road. When the catapult's about to fire, look for the signal. Bring him there, and as on siege weapons be devastating. Good fortune, and try not to get your self hit. Yeah, right. Wonderful. Now, the catapult locations, they are much more important in the group version, where you have to every once in a while knock down his momentum, but it doesn't. If he builds up momentum in the solo version, it happens so quick. Okay, there is the. Hey, come here. I think I was a bit too long and yeah. It doesn't matter. Murder Crows is good. Is more than enough for him. Yeah. You don't need the catapults all that much for solo. It's probably more. I tried to use them for practice, but on the Lore Master, since I tend to use Murder Crows on bosses, they melt anyway. Thangúlhad remains in the hands of the Golden Host. It is a great victory and one you should celebrate long. Thank you for your aid. You're welcome. You have aided me greatly. They picked an excellent time for an attack while our patrols were out. Were it not for you, this forward position would have been lost. Well, it's a good thing that that didn't happen. And because we were able to keep Thangúlhad, it means that we are now able to stage our attacks on Thangúlhad, which is what we'll begin in the next episode of Skirmishing 102.